What's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a good trials season and a happy holidays. Today I'm going to be going over a map that we just had on trials, and that is MIDtown. I plan to do more of these in the future. That will be after the holiday season once I get home, but I'm going to start with MIDtown, and if this seems to be a success, I'll do more of them. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it.
But first, let's go into the middle here so I can show you where the zones are. Zones always spawn in 3 places. They either spawn right here in the middle here, out here, or inside over here. Specifically, like right there. So, first we're gonna walk through, I'm gonna give some hypotheticals for where you would go based off what side you're on and where you are. So say I spawn this side here. This is ideal, in my opinion, for the way I play. In this situation on this map, I ran a lot of SMG and sniper. So this is how I would play. However, I'm also going to show what I would do if I was running something else. So for starters, if you get this spawn to start off, like round 1, I personally that was my favorite time, because that meant when it became heavy time, I would be on this side, which I think is the better side to start off on when it's round 4, which is heavy round. So that was also beneficial. Spawn on this side, right? Let's say round 1. Let's say this side, the zone's over here. Now, there's a lot of things you could do from here. In my situation, where I'm sniping or I'm running an SMG, I found this spot was very helpful. Oh, I'm stupid. Just found this spot. It was very helpful. A lot of people don't see you from back here, and they're not expecting it. You can look all down here and get people right here, especially if they walk out a little too far. Another spot that I really liked is this one. This is the I feel like this is the basic one. You can take the guy, whoever's up here, over here. Kind of hard here. If you peek out a little too far here, you're susceptible to someone in this area and possibly over here. And definitely if you're hard scoping in the way I have just been demonstrating, people will come and get you from here. But this is never a bad spot. There's a lot of ways to back out and disengage from if you're shooting here. Say you're with a hand cannon right here and peek shooting. The only possible way you're going to get flanked is from this side, because you got a whole wall on this side. You don't have to worry about that. And then you can always disengage by just backing up, moving around. This also is a good spot to be in because some people like to flank. Especially, I noticed a lot of people that were running mid-range guns. If you're spawning on this side, your opposition, if they're running mid-range guns, they like to come into here, maybe get up here and be able to peek shoot guys, like if they thought someone was going to hard scope. Or they would just kind of be a little bait decoy where they're just here to like draw attention while their other teammates on the other side would push around. We'll get to that in a little bit though. If we're still talking about this side, another good place you could be on, this is another good hand cannon spot, I believe, and where you can peek shoot around. You just got to be careful. There's sometimes will be a sniper sitting there. Me personally, I would peek this as a sniper, but I'm never fully committing to this one just because I'd be worried, like if I get picked here, it's very easy to swarm this area, and it leaves my teammates susceptible to getting picked very easily. So usually I would like take a little gander here, but I'm probably not hard committing, and I'd probably continue wrapping if this is my chosen path that I'm gonna do. If you didn't know about this spot, it's a good spot to be in, because you can kind of get some people down here, because people don't know how to look up, nerf stompies. But I would probably wrap around. Hopefully teammates are in a good angle and I can probably see if, okay, I can clear this out, make sure no one's here, and then possibly deal with anyone that is right around here. But I might as well just show you now. I want to reiterate, I don't like using this spot. If I'm spawning on this side, I don't like using it on round 1, because it gives it away for, like I said, if I spawn on this side, I know that I'm going to be here for heavy spawn, and I would like to keep this in my back pocket for that, because you can really get some free kills with it. So just hop up on this little ledge here. Everyone kind of knows, I think most people know about this by now, but I just want to point it out again. But you just look around this corner here, kind of a weird spot. I'm gonna show some still images too of my buddy Harrison helping me out, and he sat up here while I was like at different angles that you can cover, but you have a lot of angles here. This one down here is kind of the hard one, where like if there's another sniper here and he knows to look for you up here, he could mess you up, because I think when we did the pictures, Harrison could only see my feet while I could see the glint. But you can get a guy that's not really paying attention right here. This guy, if you're peeking this angle, you're probably peeking this angle, right? Same with up here. If you're peeking up here, you're probably peeking right here, down here, and vice versa for both. These guys are peeking each other, so they're not really noticing you in the back here. And if they see you, they're probably going to get a shot off at you, which is somewhat ideal, because then if you have a teammate that's in this area, they can kind of push up and help out, which is always a good sign for success. So this is what I like to do on round 4. But before that, if I'm in round 1 or 2, and we're talking about round 1 and the zone's in here, I'm probably going to still go peek the same way I would on this side. However, I might just take my approach differently. Instead of just going hard into here, I'd probably like maybe jump up here and peek, be ready to like slam down just in case I see sniper. And based off what I see, I might peek this angle, and I'm probably looking at this guy or this guy. If I see a guy here, I'm probably backing off, and then I might climb up and see what's going on. If I get radar, I might just peek, nothing, crouch, check radar, and then I'll make adjustments off of that. But most of the time when it comes to this angle here, if you're fighting this like vertically this way, it's gonna be a tough battle unless you had like hand cannons are superior in this gunfight, in my opinion, or any mid-range thing. Sniping is not ideal in this situation, so you want to make it more horizontal from this angle or the angle over here. So in this situation, I'm trying to control this side, or I'm trying to control this. Just all depends. Like I said, based off of what I saw on my initial jump here, I might redirect and come over here. Because if I notice no one's there, that means someone's probably over here. So I can get on this angle, potentially move up if no one's there into this angle, where I can get some easy picks. But yeah, I would essentially try to control this side so that I can control this side. If someone, it's very rare, but if someone who was, say, on the other team over there comes out here and tries to get to this angle, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I ran into that too much, and if I did, they got clapped pretty hard, because you can kind of see them and redirect. Like, there's not a lot of, if they're here, and like I said, this was our spawn side, you can just back out, and there's not a whole lot of cover for them over here. Like, if you just come over to this angle and peek the guy that's like right here, there's not really anything he can do other than like run away, and then by that time he's kind of out of the fight for his teammates, and he's not gonna be able to help them. So controlling this with mid-range guns, hand cannons, whatever you want to do, AR, pulse, is ideal. But if you can like somehow control this whole side and then force your way into here and maybe force them into corners there because you pushed up, that's very ideal. Now let's go with this side. If it's on that side, I'm probably going to hard commit, just go through here, try to maybe get a pick. Most of these guys, if you're smart, they don't peek here. Smart players don't peek here, they just cross over into there. I hit a few shots where I like was able to slide into here and get them. However, I would do that more later in the match, simply because round 1, if I peek this, there's a very good chance I'm just gonna get ability spammed with grenades, melees, just everything. So I'd rather do that later in the game, where they might not have that stuff, and it's a risky gamble to take, but it's just one that I'd be willing to rather than round 1. Round 1, I'm gonna get ability spam, there's no doubt about that. Later in the round, who knows what happens. I might not. So it's a safer peek later on. So, but if we're talking about round 1 simply, I'm probably taking this one, and then I'm probably gonna go here. And then what was working for me a lot, if I noticed, so here we go. So say they're smart, right? They just cross. They don't peek. A lot of smart players also, they're not just going to go into the point. They're going to fight around the point for a little while. So I always liked to, if I saw them cross, I'd book it over here as quick as possible. Take a little peek to see if anyone was up in the little hole, hidey hole over there. If they were not, I would tend to wrap around, especially because I'm transversive warlock. I would wrap all the way around, peek this just to see what's going on. If they noticed me, I'm hard committing back in and then readjusting, whether that be come up through here and get an angle, or I'm hard going back to my team back where we were over there. But most of the time you see guys that are hopefully in a gunfight with my teammates. Say my teammates are all in that area over there in the hallway peek shooting or whatever, I can probably get a pick and help them all out. So that's how I would handle that situation. Alright, so I kind of showed you everything I would do for most situations. And like I said, what I'd like to do, this is just make it super simple. I never like to do the same thing in one round. So say round one, on this side again, yeah. I already told you what I would do in the middle. I'm not peeking that. I'm not peeking that up there, except for round 4. If we start here on round 1, round 1, it's over there or over there. Round 1 here. My ideal thing was to set the tone early. I would do this one and see if I could get a snipe. Miss, hit, whatever you want to do. I then would readjust if I'm out of ammo, which I probably would be because I've missed or hit. If I missed, I would probably push up and try to play this angle where I'm the one, if there's a guy in here, I'm trying to like bait him, or I'm trying to like keep him occupied while my teammates can hopefully get some shit done out there. And if they're backing off, I would probably try to flank a little bit just to not necessarily get kills. If there's an opportunity to get a kill, like the guy's not paying attention to me, and there's no way like his other teammates see me, I 100% will commit to that. However, if they do happen to notice me, this is not a hard commit, like I'm not trying to do it. Because best case scenario here, say someone does notice me, I'm not trying to die here. Then my res is no way for my team to help me out, especially if they're all the way over here and the zone is right here. That's just not going to be beneficial to anyone. So if I come out here and I see someone notice me, I'm booking it back here. Ideal scenario, they actually chase me, which is a good thing because I'm fast enough I can avoid them. But if they chase me, that means I'm also pulling them off the zone. It can allow my teammates who might have been pinned here, they can advance to like this section, which is probably closer, and they can like, even if the zone spawns kind of big, if you just sit on this little corner here and just be careful of this guy, there's a good chance you could cap this zone. If I hit a shot and get a kill, I'm hard booking it all the way over here. Obviously, I'm going to go a lot faster than I would. I might peek this just depending on where the kill was. Like if I killed a guy and he's there, I can peek this easily because this guy is probably going to try to provide cover. But if he's on this side, right? If he's here and his guy got picked over here, this is not a great angle to be on because the other teammate is going to get clapped if he tries to run over from here and get a res, because there's all this space where if this guy's just hanging here, like, yeah, he's got this guy covered for sure, but he's not really helping his teammate get a res when he can't even look at any of that over there. So it would be more ideal for me to just peek this, maybe get him off of this spot, and then I have a safer peek to potentially get a follow-up shot and prevent a res here. I'm just peeking there. That's like one option. My hard option is I'm gonna fully commit and wrap around. Most people, I'm on console, most people can't shoot and res. I happen to have paddles on my controller, so it makes it a lot easier where I can shoot and res and look around and everything, but most people can't, so I might be able to get up here. Plus, if I get up here, again, this is not a hard commit. I can just backtrack if I need to, but when I do this, it allows my teammates to get up in a position and we can cover zone and reses. And most of the time, if someone's trying to fight me, it'll cause them to go out and get picked by one of my teammates, which is huge for all of us. Going here, if I get an easy pick here, right, like guy just decided to peek, like not a good idea, but he did get a pick there. I'm coming in here just to observe if someone's up there. If they're not, then hopefully my team recognizes it and we can fully just wrap all the way around, and then we can get some easy picks. So that's the zone. That's one way I'd go. The other way, like I said, I told you earlier, later in the round, I would go into here. So that's what I would do. Those are all the options that I would follow on this side of the map. And like I said, I like to change around the options almost every time, so it's very helpful. But let's go to the next side. Alright, so now we're spawning from this side. So what I'm gonna do on round 1, this is always what I do. If we're on the left side on round 1, I'm getting all the way down here, and I'm probably scoping this guy out. Just because I talked about it earlier, where the reason I don't like to go on this side round 1 is because ability spam is just gonna clap people. In this situation, I want to be here. I want to be able to, if someone peeks this, I might get a pick here with a sniper rifle, or I can just throw a grenade, get a nice little ability spam going, maybe a melee, you know, just mess them up. So that's where I like to go round 1. If I get a kill here, obviously I'm gonna advance in here, so I can hold this down a lot easier. If I don't get a pick here, I'm probably gonna rotate somewhere, try not to get picked. I can do it because I can, like, you know, Icarus dash to this section, but I'm probably gonna try to control here. And the reason I say that is if I don't get a pick right here, I'm gonna try to get over to this side, because if I can control this area, it means my teammates can't get flanked, I can't get flanked, and then it puts the enemy team at a disadvantage where they have to, one, potentially get reses. If, like, I don't get the pick but my teammates get a pick in that corner, it moves them all into this little section, which is a lot more manageable, and we can control them a little bit more. That's just for round 1. Another option I have is I would sit up here and probably try to pick someone here, slide into this corner, maybe pick someone here. But if the zone is over here, we have to control this section, and if we control this section right here, it puts them all at a disadvantage because they're bunched up over there. The only thing you gotta watch out for if you're trying to do that and control this area, you gotta watch out for the very long flank. That's why it's better to rotate instead of just sit here and peek shoot with a guy here. It's not ideal because the longer you sit here, the more likely someone can rotate from down here and clean you all up very easily. So it'd be better to, like, if there's a guy here, just nuke him or make him back off, and then it's control this little open area, specifically in here. If they can get in here, they can push you from this angle, this angle. This is not a good time. So you want to control them and corner them into there like that. Alright. And you definitely don't want to get flanked from right here. So let's go where it is the middle zone. If it spawns in the middle here, the one thing I like to do, like I said, there's not a lot. I don't like this side, especially when it comes to heavy, but we'll cover that in a second. If middle zone is here, this is the one time I'll probably peek this angle here, because someone, like I said when we were on the other side, if I think in the middle, whoever controls this whole section has the best chance. But this is the one time I'll peek here. Hopefully I can get a pick here, because then if I get a pick here, I can advance, and it effectively takes this guy. That's a bad place to get picked. If you get picked there in this situation, you're throwing. This is the main guy that you gotta worry about though, because like if you pick him, you gotta make sure they can't get the res. That's a very resable pick. This one's kind of in the open, where even if they do res him, they can sit behind that wall, sure, but like you could farm him if you really needed to. But this one over here is a little more difficult. But that's what I would probably do if this was round 1. Now say this is round 4. You know, because think about it, the rounds switch every time. This is like the next round. Say round 4 situation, I'm probably peeking here. Simply because I can see this guy, this section right here, I can see him. I'm very out in the open. Not ideal, because these guys can mess me up. However, I can see him, but he can't see me. This little thing is in my way, and it protects my head. So all he can see is my feet, which is very good. So I would stay here. If this is for heavy round, right? I can stay here. I can peek them before they even see me, where if they're running through this lane, I can get a shot off and potentially back them up. If I can back them up to there, get a nade on it in this tunnel, we can get heavy easy. Like I said, most of the time when it comes to heavy on this section, though, it's whoever can control this little lane here. But this way I can stop anyone from going here. If I get a pick here, I'm probably going to come over here and then try to control this section. Whether that be sniping or whatever, hopefully grab heavy. But if it's not heavy, I'm probably not going through this tunnel. I saved this tunnel specifically for heavy round. I'm I'm probably going I'm going this way. Then say we get into a later round, I'm probably going to go here just to potentially get a guy that over peaks here. I can cover this one, and I can also check this one out. Or I'm going to hop up here and get someone who potentially is doing what I said I do, where I jump up to observe. You could get an easy pick there with some people that don't know how to get down quick enough. But that's what I would do in the middle. Other than that, the main thing I think is important for this middle one is to control this section. So, as I said, from the other side. So, that's what I would do. Now, lastly, let's go talk about this part out here. If we're going round one, and this is my opening round, I'm probably going to go up here. A lot of people like to jump up high. You can pick them when they're right there. Can't see this angle very well, which is kind of good, but anyone that's up here you can pick. Also, if there's another sniper at this angle with you, this cup could save your life. It also taketh. It's a thing. It'll make you miss your shot, but it could also save you from getting killed too. So it's never a bad idea to try that one out. But round one, I'm probably peeking right here. And if I don't got anyone, like no one peeks here, I'm probably going to rotate around and be bait on this little part right here, where I'm just trying to look, because you can get a lot of guys by surprise right there. So I'm going to sit there, or I'm going to move into here, where I can then peek out a little bit, potentially get someone in that little corner down there. This side isn't that great for this. I'm not a big fan of that. Those are my really only two options I do there. Another one is, like I said, that's kind of what I would do if I got a pick, is make a move on any of those angles. Sometimes this is another one I do. If I say I got a pick, if I'm on this angle, I might even jump up here, because then I can decide if they're resing back there, and if a guy push up here, I can isolate this guy and get him. If not, I'm probably gonna go, if I miss and don't get a pick, I'm probably gonna go be bait over here, like I talked about earlier, where I'm gonna fight in here and potentially make my way through here and get behind them if I really have to.
If you made this far, thank you for watching. Like I said, if this is a thing that becomes a success, I'll probably do more of these in the future, but it won't be till after the holidays. So anyway, if you liked the video, please like and subscribe, share with your friends. Press the bell next to subscribe for notifications. Hope to see you in the Crucible, and GG's. Happy holidays.